Everyone has a bright light inside of them that deserves to be seen by the world. That's why it's time to shine the light on the extraordinary who are accomplishing phenomenal things. This is the Shine Out Loud Show with Lillian Obogo.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever in the world you may be. This is another episode of the Shine Out Loud Show with me, Lillian Obogo. I want to thank you all for tuning in because today, as the youths will say, is going to be lit. We have the incredible, fantastic, amazing, multi-talented Rhoda Wilson. She is the producer and the executive producer of Housewife and Girlfriends, a brand new TV series which hit Africa Magic Urban Channel. She is a Nollywood producer of Nollywood in Nollywood UK. This woman has taken Nollywood by a storm because she has produced a show that is heading into its third series, and this is just one of her many accolades. A former chat show host herself, so talk about turning the tables. Rhoda has crossed many boundaries, and actually she has gone from a credit analyst in the corporate world to chat show host, producer, presenter, creator, and breaking into Nollywood. So join me and welcome my incredible guest, Rhoda Wilson. Hi, Rhoda.
Hi, Lillian. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are.
Oh, Rhoda, it has been a while since I've spoken to you.
It has been, Lillian. Time has just flown, It's one of those things that life just takes you to, in a different direction, and you kind of lose touch with people. And but it's nice to get back and talk to you. It is nice. And obviously, you too, you've moved on. You've done so many things. You've got your own chat show. I'm really excited, and I can't wait for this interview. And just talk about things.
Thank you. Well, I do try. I try to keep up with people like you. Come on, Rhoda, you have come a long way. From having me as one of your guests on a very long time ago on your show, and this was way back then, and it was the Rhoda Wilson show. So, for those that didn't know you had a show, what inspired that show?
Gosh, I think at the time when I started, it was 2004, 2005. There was no role model out there. There was no black role model that I could see, that I could relate to. And I wanted to showcase black role models. And I wanted to showcase anyone that was promoting the black industry or contributing at the time to the inspirational journey for many black people. So for me, this is why I went into the show. I wanted to create something different, to showcase people, to showcase role models, and to help people as well to get to get a better, to look at those role models and feel, yes, they've gone through journeys and they've gone through challenges. They can make it, and they are making it, and they too themselves can make it.
And you did quite well. This show was your baby. You created, produced it, even financed it. And which I felt, looking back on that journey, is there anything that you'd have done differently?
We didn't have the technology we now have. So at the time, what I did was, obviously we had to have a studio. You were there in one of the studios that we had.
Yes.
And the cost was quite high. And that was it was a huge burden on me. Also, I am actually an introvert, despite the fact that I did a TV show. And I think I was very shy. I wish I'd pushed it more than I did at the time. Because people were saying to me, look, Rhoda Wilson show, we love the Rhoda Wilson show. Why didn't you come back? I said, at the time, it was the best show that was out there at the time. Now you've got many other shows, TV shows that actually that's been done at a less expensive rate, and also they're more, not so much, they're dynamic, but also, they're dynamic. They're fulfilling the gap that I left, if that's the best thing to say. So the only things I would have done differently would be, maybe I would have changed the technology I use a bit. I would have also maybe adapt. That is the word. Adapt new technology. but also keep persevering with it as well. I think I went through also, Also, during the time as well, I went through some difficulties. It was a very bad time for me. I think it was 2012, and after that, by then I'd already stopped the Rhoda Wilson show a year previously because
Right.
I went through a very, very bad experience, and that kind of knocked my confidence. And when it knocked my confidence, I felt embarrassed, I felt shy, I felt upset, and I just withdrew from the show. And so maybe if I knew now what I know, then I would have just persevered.
Now, you've actually touched on something, Rhoda, which is very important, because one of the things that people think that, you mentioned the fact that you are an introvert, you're shy, and you've experienced failure. And, going into business, one of the things that people think that you succeed all the time. So how do you, as a person, bounce back from failure? How did you bounce back from that difficult time you had in 2012?
Gosh, firstly, I lost a lot of people, most friends that when Rhoda Wilson was successful, you have a lot of friends. Sadly, success brings friends. It's natural, but also you lose friends. When you don't have, you're not at the top of your game.
Right.
Many people that thought out there that you're successful would walk away from you. What I did was I went back to the drawing board. I realized my failures. I realized that, okay, Rhoda, you can't do the Rhoda Wilson show anymore just because of the failure you've had. There are also other people doing better job than you. Not better job, but people are more dynamic than I am. Funding is no longer available for me. And what I then decided to do was during that time, I started doing the review. I started researching. And I thought, but Rhoda, you've got all these skills. You've got all this experience. Why don't you do something else? So I researched and I went into myself, obviously, being a Christian. I prayed on it. I just went into my own zone. And that's when I came up with Housewives and Girlfriends.
Oh, okay.
I did my research. I was looking at different ways to transfer my skills. And I thought, okay, Rhoda, what can you do? Funding is not available. You don't want to do the Rhoda Wilson show anymore just because you've lost so many good friends because of the challenges you went through. And I went into doing just production itself when I became a producer, producing TV series. And because I had experience from doing my own TV show, I was able to do Housewives and Girlfriend in terms of producing season 1 and then season 2, but not on my own because I had good people behind me. I had the likes of Nelson Spike. I had the cast as well. And so that was actually the next step for me. So actually from that challenge came growth. Not talking to you about it, Lillian. I just that is actually growth, man. That was growth. You sit down, you think, oh gosh, it's gone all terribly wrong. This is the end of me. But out of that came Housewives and Girlfriends.
But they say you have to walk through fire to come out to the other side and find yourself. So well done you for actually going through all of that. And if you didn't break up with the Rhoda Wilson show, you won't be the producer of the hit that you have now. So let's talk about Housewives and Girlfriends. What inspired Housewife and Girlfriends? You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't tell anybody.
To all the millions of people listening to this, Lillian? No, what inspired Housewives and Girlfriends mainly is just the challenge I went through with the Rhoda Wilson show. I wanted to do something different. And I like producing. I like creating something new. And with Housewives and Girlfriend as well, one of the inspiration from creating that is the fact that there was no TV series out there, especially in the UK. Mind you, Housewives and Girlfriend is actually made in the UK. And there was no actually series out there that produced UK talents on TV. And I thought, well, Rhoda, listen, you can show black people in positive light. They don't have to be drug dealers. They don't have to be prostitutes. It's not about immigration. It's not about being a Nigerian myself. It's not about voodoo. It's not about this. They're actually successful Nigerians in London and in the world. So why don't you portray that?
Well done for
you. So what
you.
I did, Exactly, and I got tired at that time of seeing all this negative. Oh, we can't show black people if they do. Or I think at one point, even without, I hope I'm not going to be sued for libel for this one. There was some points, I better not say the series name, a well popular show on TV on BBC One. Never put black people on their show on their series because it upset the audience. And I'm thinking, what is that all about? What is that all about?
You know what? I think. Sorry to jump in there. I listen. You can name names. I have no problem with naming names, but we won't name names just yet. But you have actually touched on something very important, because when we look at how our stories are told, and this is why I keep talking about the power of storytelling. Until we start telling our own stories, we'll always be told in a certain light, and that's why I personally don't watch a lot of soap operas in the UK. And especially when, at the time, growing up here, you then watch certain shows. Watching EastEnders, I'm sorry, when you watch EastEnders, the black people, any minority, they're always problematic. More problematic than the problems in the show itself. And it's like always at the lower strata. And I'm thinking, well, no, those are not people that I know, and that does not reflect. Or then you have the other angle where you have documentaries that show black youths as gang members and killers. So I think we needed a balance, and I think your show is doing that.
Yeah, and also there was the one that they showed with the dogs. They see all these black people with dogs all the time walking around. Well, give over. What is that all about? What is that, excuse me, about, effing about? No? Seriously. It's just, you just think to yourself, this is just not what I want to see. For that reason, I think I wanted something different. I don't believe that everything should be as negative as it is portrayed at the moment. Yes, we have to be realistic. I'm not saying all black people are great. I'm not saying all white people are great. But there should be a balance to also portray those people doing great, the white and the black people doing great. So that is my own belief, and this is why Housewives and Girlfriend was created. And it took me 18 months from the pilot episode to completing season 1 to actually deliver it. So 18 months, and many people might not want to put in that time. I remember sleeping on the floor. I downsized, but I was determined to get this series out. And everybody could not believe it. We did season 1, season 2, and now we're on to season 3. Just putting together the storyline. I mean, I had the storyline last year, but I wanted to streamline the storyline and make it a bit more watertight. I'm not saying that in the storyline there wasn't things like drugs and all that. But it's not shown the way it's shown that, it's all black people that deals in drug. All black people have immigration problem. All black people came from the boat. All black people. That is just rubbish.
But
and that is how it is.
Your show is actually really about it's about the human condition of life. It deals with love, passion, jealousy, ambition, money, everything that anyone who is living goes through. But you're just showing it through one particular slant, that all your characters happen to be of color, minority, black, whatever words you want to use. That is your focus.
That's my focus, and also, obviously, I want to make money. So if you look at your research and you do research, one of the things I used was the 4 quarters. This 4, I think, is what the Nollywood people, Hollywood use as well, whereby you have your storyline that runs around certain characters and certain streams. So therefore, it is commercial. So for me, I wanted it to be, to be commercial. I wanted it to be to reach to make money from it. So this is why the storyline using black people within it, but make it so appealing that it becomes a commercial item as well. Because what is the point of creating something if you're not going to make money from it? That is me anyway. I don't
Rhoda, I think that's the realistic part of what. Oh, excuse me. That's the realistic part of it, because you're being honest. You're saying you're going into this and you're making money, and one of the things that you wanted to show a particular theme. Now, okay, so let's kind of step back a minute, because there's so much to discuss. When I look at you, Rhoda, now, you, like I said, you've gone from creating your own chat show, you've been a speaker, when I first met you, you were hosting and comparing events. You have done quite a lot of things. And, so like I said, you switched your path a couple of times. And what would you say to another woman who is still searching for her main passion? What would you tell her to continue to do? Because sometimes we have this idea that we must, by the time you're 30, have conquered it, know where you're going, what you're saying, what you're doing, and be on that track. But what if you realize that you're in the wrong field, or you want to do something else? What would you tell a woman coming up behind you?
First of all, I would say to you, having money to support yourself is very important. So I will combine both, like I did when I did the Rhoda Wilson show. I would say have a part-time job and pursue your passion, because that is the only way you can get to where you want to get to. So I'm just going to use what I went through, and then you take some of the aspects of my own journey and see how you can use that to apply to yourself. So when I did the Rhoda Wilson show, I did my credit analyst role. I did that for a while whilst doing the Rhoda Wilson show, and still going out there to tender for some funding, which some of them came, some of them never came. And you need to pay your bills. That's very important. You need to support yourself. The last thing you want to do is have a project and you're passionate about. Nobody can support you, not because they don't believe in because they don't believe in your dream. That's more or less it. They don't believe in your dream, but you believe in your dream. So for me, I would say have something on the side that brings in some monies for yourself. The next thing I'll say is speak to people that believe in you. Have people that believe in you around you. Have a mentor as well. It's always good to have a mentor. Even for 6 weeks, they will set plans for you to say, okay, for example, we say, okay, Lillian, by next week, you should have been doing this and doing that. Time waits for no one. Do this, do that. So that is very important, just because sometimes, not because you don't know what you need to do, but you just need somebody to just reassure you or guide you to reassure you that you're on the right track and give you that additional support you need. So that is what I would say. And then I guess it's then doing research. I do a lot of research on the internet. I go to the library, believe it or not. I've got library cards. I've got library cards for where I am. I've got library cards for Canary Wharf, Ideal Store. I've got library cards for the British Library. I love libraries. I do some of my best research, or some of the best research I've done. I've always been in the library.
Right.
Not because I don't trust the internet. It's just because sometimes you just need to see and read it. And for me, anyway, I need to feel it and I need to read it. Then I can go away and come back on the internet and say, okay, this is what I found out in the library, and this is what the internet is saying. I'll go with what the library says, for example.
Okay, so basically, you're saying do your research, be able to support yourself, and have the right people in your team. So be it a mentor, be it people that in your inner circle. And we'll touch back on that, because, that team, without team, I don't know how people survive working without the right team behind them. So we'll touch back to that. Now, in 2016, last year, you were nominated for the Inspirational Woman and Career Woman of the Year by Women for Africa. And that's just one of the many accolades that you've been nominated for. But who are the women behind the camera that inspires you?
Behind the camera that inspire. I love the lady that did Amina. I like Oprah Winfrey, one of them.
Okay.
Amata Asante, the Ghanaian lady that did. I'm just trying to think the movie she did. I think it was Queen. She's a lovely Ghanaian lady. These are the two strong women that I could that springs to mind at the moment. Just because, obviously, Oprah is, a mother of all mothers.
Oprah, the living legend, that is.
Yeah, exactly. and I do like her, and she's just I'll probably say she's one of my favorites at the moment, and
Okay. So, and I love that. I love the fact that looking out, behind the camera, there are more and more women coming up. I mean, the likes of Ava Dunnery, Issa Rae. There are a lot of amazing, talented women right now. And thanks to the proliferation of social media, thanks to the fact that, like you said, times have changed, tools have changed, and that people are able to control how they produce, what they produce, and not having to rely on big budget studios anymore, that they can produce more streamlined. And we're having this influx of really talented people coming to the awareness and to the forefront. Now, when you look at yourself, what would you say is one of your biggest challenges as a female producer in Nollywood?
Oh gosh. Okay. Gosh, challenges. I'll probably say that Nollywood itself, majority of the audience in Nollywood are female, and but yet majority of the producers and directors are men. So you get that challenge. So far, I must admit, if there is any challenge, I probably oblivious to it because I just ignore things and move on. So for me, it would have to be, I think, trying to get people. Actually, I don't know. The only thing I'll say that there are more producers, there are more female, there are more male producers and directors than there are female. So that itself is a challenge. But now we've got quite a few, and I'm just trying to think of, is it Omoni, Nollywood star that is now going into Omoni Obole. That's the lady I was looking for. She's a Nigerian actress and also a director and producer and a trained digital filmmaker at the New York Film Academy. So she's one of the top. Yeah, Omoni. I was thinking Omoni Obole. So she's breaking that barrier to become a director in Nollywood, and she's doing very well. So we need to have more female directors out there because directors are seen as a lot higher than a producer. So if you look at the hierarchy of film, you've got a director.
Yes.
Who commands things. Obviously, the producer is like a cook that puts all the ingredients together. And the director tells the producer where to stay and how to stay.
Okay.
So this is how I see it. So for me, the challenge I would say is that getting more women as directors, not just in Nollywood. I belong to the women in film and TV here in London. And they have the same challenge of whereby they have more producers than they have directors as female. So that barrier itself we need to break. And that is a challenge, not just in Nollywood, but across the film industry.
So in your opinion, what is the challenge that is keeping women away from these roles or actually not taking up these roles? What is the number one barrier in your opinion?
It's like something somebody told me many years ago. When you have two people go for an interview, a man and a woman, the man will sit there and say, they will ask the man, if the man has 10% of the qualification that is required of the job, he would apply for the job regardless because he feels he can do the job.
Of course.
A woman will never apply. A woman may have 90% of the skills required. Because she lacked the 10% of that skill, she would not apply for a job. So it's just having the confidence to say that we can do that role, to go for the role. That is what it is. It's having the confidence. That is what is keeping many of the women away from it. Because the role has predominantly been a man's role, a director. A director is a very big status in the film industry. And women always often see directors, but they can do the job. I've met some great women who can actually be good directors, but they rather be a producer than a director because they feel the director should be a man's role.
Interesting.
Why?
That's rather interesting in this day and age, actually, that we still have this bias, internal bias, that we're actually keeping ourselves out of roles. But you know what? I think that is something that I think is not just in the film industry, is in a number of fields. And I think that the more we have women like you challenging that status quo, and other women who are going actively saying this is not the case, the better we'll be in the long run. And you're actually doing something where you're actually starting to work with younger people, so youths, teenagers, to actually get them into the acting field and into being behind the camera. You have a program coming up.
That is correct. I've got a workshop called the UK Nollywood Youth Workshop, an acting workshop. No experience is required. We've got the workshop coming up this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the workshop will be looking really at building self-confidence, acting techniques, acting on stage, acting in front of the cameras, and many more activities as well. And the reason why this is important is that we need to leave a legacy. Somebody once said to me, I read a book somewhere, I don't know who wrote that book. He said to me, the book, at the end of it, the advice was, as adults or people like myself, we should let our glass ceiling be the platform for the youth to walk on.
Oh, I like
that. So I like that as well. Let your glass ceiling as an adult be the foundation or the platform for the youth to walk on or to carry on from. So for me, I wanted to create a legacy. I wanted to leave behind a legacy. I wanted to get more people, more of the young people into Nollywood and into acting, because they are the one that's going to carry it. They're going to take it to the next level, they're going to develop it, and they're going to fall in love with it. And what is very interesting was I was in Hackney last week, Saturday, to talk about this workshop. And when I got there, I was saying, I'm doing an acting workshop. All the kids were looking at me going, yeah, right. I said, well, it's Nollywood. Oh, I want to come. I want to be in Nollywood. I tell you, Lillian, that was a magic word. Nollywood. And some of them came and said, I can do Nollywood accent. I said, dude, I said, I said, well, that's not about Nollywood. Okay. So in fact, what was very interesting, that would give me more confidence in terms of that the workshop, gave me more confidence in the fact that what I'm doing is the right thing to do. The fact that people actually, most of the young people out there are looking to get into Nollywood, and they don't know how to get into Nollywood. So I'm really excited. It's this Saturday. It's in Putney. Okay. And in our studio in Putney, which is just on the other side of London. And I'm looking forward to having the kids. And what is also interesting about this workshop as well, Lillian, if I may say, is that those that come on Saturday automatically get entrance to the movie we're doing next year called Tales by Moonlight. Now,
wait. Hold on, Rhoda. Is that the original Tales by Moonlight?
No, we're not going to be sitting under the tree.
Oh,
but
no,
you
had me excited for a second.
Yeah, well, maybe we would, that would be telling. But it's going to be something like similar to Tales by. It's called Tales by Moonlight anyway. It's a working title. And if I say Tales by Moonlight, you straight away an image conjures in your mind, and you know what to expect.
Of course.
And so this is what we're going. So people coming on Saturday, all the kids that are registered on Saturday automatically qualifies. That is the word for the movie, and we're going to start production in summer next year.
Awesome. And that's really great. And I love the enthusiasm of the kids and all of them, coming prepared with their accents and ready to jump in. But how do you get around the biases of parents? Because we know, listen, let's break it down. We're Nigerian. Let's you know our parents. You're going to be a what? You're going to be an actor or read your book. You're going to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. You're going to be that, you're a diplomat. Your uncle, your auntie, all our family are doctors. You are going to be a doctor. How do you get around that bias with parents?
I must say it's very challenging. One of the beauty about this workshop is that Tush Wagno Mod, if that's the right pronunciation of his mom, is going to be there. He's half Jamaican, half Nigerian. And she's going to talk about how, as parents, we should encourage our kids to go into acting. Doing the doctor, the engineering, and lawyer is still a great course. It's still a great job to have. But also, there's some people that they're not geared towards achieving that. So why can't they? I'm not saying those going into acting are losers. What I'm saying that there's opportunity for the parents to consider that as well. So, it was a bit challenging, I must say, though, Lillian, because when I spoke to some of the Nigerian parents, they were like, my child is not going to acting. What is that? Let them stay home. Let them read their books. But yet, some of the other parents I spoke to, especially the non-Nigerians, which makes me believe that Nollywood itself is a great industry. It's a growing industry. It's an industry that is recognized outside Nigeria, because most people coming to the course on Saturday are actually either from Ivory Coast, Ghana, or Sierra Leone, which is very, very strange, because you would have thought that Nollywood is for Nigerians.
Exactly.
But I guess it goes back to what you just said. Most Nigerians parents don't recognize Nollywood as a career. You must be a doctor, you must be a bank manager, you must be this, you must be that. All the traditional jobs they expect their kids to be. So in a way, now I'm talking to you actually, Lillian, it just makes me realize that, okay, actually, Rhoda, don't be disappointed. That is because the Nigerian parents, the way they see things, are different,
Yeah, and I guess we're not, and let's not judge our parents too harshly, because for their time, their era, it was demanded of them an education, and I still believe very much in an education. Now I'm doing this now, but we both know that I have my background in international relations and all sorts of things, and you have your background. You hold a BA. You basically a credit analyst. You are basically a financial whiz yourself. So you are educated. So there's something to be said for the education. Now, you mentioned Tush is coming to your workshop on Saturday. And for those who don't know who Tush is, who is Tush, please?
Oh, Tush, you don't know who Tush is? He's currently in Dreamgirls. I hope the parents don't mind me saying that. He's currently in Dreamgirls. He's one of the top... it's one of the young, I would say it's young actor on stage at the moment. He did what's it called, The Lion King. Okay. He was in The Lion King as well, and so it's a cast member for the Dreamgirls in the West End, and also he's been in Lion King. He's one of the uprising actors as well. He's half Jamaican, half Nigeria. And I believe he went to, I'm not so sure actually, he did some training. I can't remember what he did training in. I think he did, is he trained at the Brits School of Performing Arts?
Oh, it's the Brit Academy.
So, yeah, so he's we're really excited. We're really excited that he's coming over to talk to us. He's done. I'm just trying to think what his mom said to me. He did the likes of The Sweet Smell of Success. He's done Five Guys Named Mo. What else has he done? The Lion King. He did The Lion King. I mentioned that. And I think also he did. He's been on the variety show. Yeah, I can't wait to have him. And he's such a young guy, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm really looking forward to it.
He sounds like an amazing young man.
Sorry?
He sounds like an amazing young man.
He is, and his mom, Saz, is running he's got an award ceremony for the young people. I believe that that's been done next year, and she's also coming to speak as well at the workshop on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that.
So where is this work? How much does this workshop cost? How can people find out more about it? Where can they sign their kids up if there's still any spaces left?
Well, they should contact us. I think that's the best thing to say. They can reach me at admin@rhodawilson.com. It's admin@rhodawilson.com. And we will let them know. We'll send them the link, and otherwise they can find us on Eventbrite. Eventbrite, we are there on Eventbrite as well. Okay. So if anybody's looking to book their kids, and they can do so. I think there might be a couple of spaces left. I'm not so sure, but they just have to check and book.
Okay. Now, when you look back on your career, when you look back on everything that you've done, in fact, let me park that question because I'm going to come to it. As a woman who has an incredible busy schedule, we were talking just before the show started that some days you were not just triple booked, you were quadruple booked because you have quite a lot on. How do you take care of yourself? What are your self-care routines?
Oh my God, my sister said, that Rhoda Wilson, she doesn't take care of herself. What is wrong with her? But I must admit, one of the things I do is I meditate in the morning. I meditate every morning for 5 minutes, and that meditation comes with prayer and guidance, and that is just 5 minutes. You sit in your zone, you sit in the quiet, and then you meditate. You plan your day, and I always say you speak life into it, you speak positivity into it. I'm not going to say it works all the time, but when it does fail, you're able to cope with it. It doesn't wipe you. It doesn't swipe you. It doesn't destroy your confidence for the day. It just means that, okay, I've come across a stumbling block. I need to move on. I need to turn left or I need to turn right. And then you move on. That to me is very important. And also what I've tried now to do is at least every 2 weeks, go for like a massage. It's very important. I go for massage once every 2 weeks. And also I make the point of trying, because I haven't done that for a while, meet up with friends. Go out for dinner with friends, talk to friends. And when I say friends, non-business friends, right. That is very important. Because sometimes you just get swamped and swallowed in this celebrity lifestyle that if you're not careful, you lose people that have been there with you and have traveled the journey with you. So it's important to try and maintain that. So I try to do that once every month. And obviously family as well are very important. So I do things with the family. And so that's more or less me taking control of life and finding life-work balance.
Well, that's really fantastic, and I like the fact that you're saying you meditate, you know what works for you, and you know what doesn't work, and that whole piece about that body self-care. A lot of times people think that self-care is overindulgence, but I say to people, if you are not taking care of your body, then you can't do the great work that you're set out to do. So that is very, very important, and that to me is vital.
It is very important, especially meditation. When I don't meditate, the days I don't meditate, to be honest, Julian, I can feel it. I feel the spark different because I feel my compass is kind of skewed. Mm-hmm. I feel lost. So for me, spending just 5 minutes, that 5 minutes could be, you don't have to be in your, when I say you don't have to say, quiet the mind for 5 minutes. 5 minutes could just be you having positive thoughts about how you expect the day to go. And I do mine with prayers, okay, I'm going to go through this day. Lord, let it be a great day. Whatever challenges I come through, give me because sometimes, people always say, God will take away challenges. But sometimes those challenges are actually for your own growth and for your own benefit.
Exactly.
So for me, when those challenges do occur, I always look, okay, God, I'm going to go through today. If there are challenges I need to go through for my growth, give me the strength to go through that. And giving me the wisdom and the knowledge to come out of it, and without me losing my sense of well-being, and without me losing my sense of direction, and without me losing my sense of faith. Because sometimes those challenges can try you. You can think, gosh, but why? But sometimes you're meant to go through that because they're life lessons you have to learn to get you. Like we were just saying at the beginning, what I went through with Rhoda Wilson's show. If I hadn't gone through those challenges, Lillian, Housewives and Girlfriends would never have been done.
Exactly.
So sometimes we go through those challenges. I'm not saying that all the time is all hunky-dory and I've gone through challenges. Yippee, now. I've grown. Yes, let's go. No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that because sometimes those challenges can cripple you. I hate it. Well, not I hate it. People used to say to me, Rhoda, no, if it doesn't break you, it makes you strong. And I'm thinking, listen, darling, it doesn't make me strong anymore. It cripples me and I'm tired. So sometimes those challenges, they cripple you, but it's not that cripple you, only cripple you for a short time.
Yeah.
But then you dust yourself, and then you carry on.
You know, Rhoda, what I like is your honesty. And the fact is, like, I keep, pointing back to the fact that sometimes, especially for us as women of color, we have this idea that we are almost superhuman and we have this ability to suffer and strive and we're meant to go through that all the time and be that fighting woman. But I like the fact that I have incredible guests that come on the show and say, listen, I'm strong, but there's a point where I actually have to put things down and say I've had enough. And to be honest, when you honestly say, yeah, sometimes it cripples me and I just want to stop and pull the blanket over my head. We need to have more honest conversations because that way we will let those coming up behind us know that it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to fail as long as you move forward from that failure. It's okay for things to happen around you. I think it's kind of we're creating this false illusion if we keep telling people that life is fine all the time.
It's very true, because I always say, people say, well, Rhoda, you're strong, woman. I said, no, because I've been made to be strong. I've been through challenges that I have no choice but to be strong. There are people that look up to me. There are people that expect decisions from me. There are people that reports to me. You've got to stay strong sometimes. You just for them, not because of you, because if you're strong, it gives them the confidence to go strong. But sometimes I also tell them that the other day somebody said to me, I said, listen, yes, I look young, I look pretty, but I tell you, I'm going through stress. She goes, oh, really? I say, yes, I've got my premiere coming up on November the 10th. We've got editing, we've got this to do. She goes, oh, wow, Rhoda, thank you for your honesty. And I'm thinking, really? Isn't that what people say when you're going through stress?
Oh, no. People go, I'm fine, as a black woman, we strive, we're, black girl magic and all of that stuff. We are sometimes not being honest to ourselves, and so, yeah, we have to be honest and have to say when we're going through stuff is, hey, I'm going through this. And actually, having the right people in our corner to talk to is actually very, very important.
It is important. It is important to have the right people to talk to and also be honest with yourself. If you can't do it, just say, listen, I can't do it, and just, take 5-10 minutes out. I remember Tuesday was a very stressful day for me. There was a lot of demand on my time, and I was beginning to lose direction. What I did was I just went for a walk for 10-15 minutes. I left my desk, went for a walk, and I thought, okay, everything is going wrong. The only thing you can do at this point in time, Rhoda, is go for a walk, leave everything. And when I came back, I was on top form. So sometimes it's just stepping away from the problem and going for a walk or talking to friends or just doing something different and then coming back to it. And I was able to deal with those issues. And it was like, oh, really? Why were you stressed about it earlier? I was thinking, I don't know. So it's just a case of recognizing when you just have to say to yourself that, listen, I'm going out of here, I'm going for a walk. And I'll deal with it later. And that's very important as well. It's having self-control. And don't let things, and knowing when to walk away for 5-10 minutes and come back.
And I think that's important, is knowing yourself. Now, if you're just joining us, where have you been for the last 44 minutes? I have the incredible Rhoda Wilson with us. And we're talking about being a woman behind the camera, being a woman of color behind the camera, going from chat show host, financial credit analyst, to producer an executive producer of Housewives and Girlfriends, being in the Nollywood industry in the UK, and actually looking at what it means to be a woman in a male-dominated industry. And if you have not joined us till now, you've missed the fact that Rhoda believes that our glass ceiling should be the platforms in which the youth start from. And we need to be able to leave legacy pieces behind. And she has a brand new program coming out that's actually targeted and directed at getting young people into acting, into Nollywood in the UK. And it's really about creating positive imagery of our own stories, and not just having, when Black people are seen in UK shows, is that they're gang members, crooks, criminals, and prostitutes. And which is really powerful about telling our story. So, Rhoda, when I think about you, and I still remember the interview we did together, I still remember all the other things that you've done. When I think about you and looking back, what's the one lesson that you will say, in fact, not the lesson, but more like the one thing that you will say to your 18-year-old self coming up?
What one thing would I say, man, since coming up? I would say that, I don't know, I wouldn't change it. I would just say carry on. I would say life is a journey. Don't let things, I know you said one thing, but I can't think of one thing, so I'm going to tell you. Life is a journey, and maybe what regrets do I have? The only regret I have is I think I let the business take control of me as opposed to me taking control of the business.
Right.
It's only in the last few years, last 12 months that I've kind of, I would tell a lie, last 6 months, that I've kind of gradually trying to create a life-work balance. You know, I'm very strict with my meditation in the morning. I go for massage every 2 weeks. I make it a point of meeting friends outside the industry once a month. I've had to pencil this, I had to write it down. So the one thing I'll say to myself, my 18-year-old self, is have a work-life balance. Is very important, because there's some dark days that if you don't have the right people around you, it can be very hard to get out of it. So that is the only thing I would say to my 18-year-old self. But apart from that, actually, I like my life. I like the way I've lived things. Apart from that, yeah, that's all I should say. You say one thing, I've told you many things, but you know what I mean.
Well, you know what? Your 18-year-old self will appreciate it.
Yes, listen, life should be, create a life or work-life balance. That's all you need, otherwise carry on.
Okay. All right. So you've heard it. The work-life balance is key. Now, and we've been skirting around the issue, and we've been talking about teams. And you would not be able to have Housewives and Girlfriends if you did not have the incredible team behind you. So what's the one thing you do to have the cohesive teams, not just in the business, but also in your life, that support you?
What do I do?
Yes, to have the right team around you.
Look, first of all, I would like to say every team has their ups and downs. You have fights, you have quarrels, but then you carry on. But it's also about relationship, building that relationship. So for me, it's been honest with the team. If we have challenges, I say, look, I have this challenge, I need to get this done. I need your help. Can you help me? What can you do? We need this person, we need that person. So that is very important. I think honesty is very important. And also, I think for me, I realized that with my French, with my team, that everybody, they understand what the ultimate goal is.
Right.
So despite our challenges, our fights and disagreements, everybody knows we need to get to the final destination, which is getting the production done. So this is honesty, knowing that resolving issues is very important, and making sure that your team understand what the goal is, the ultimate goal. That is very important. But I need to talk about my Christmas movie as well very quickly. I don't know if we have time.
Oh, no, we still have time. We'll be talking about the Christmas movie. We still have time. And before we actually talk about the Christmas movie, on the show we have the So Loud moment of the week. And we would like to know what your So Loud moment of the week is.
What's the solar moment?
So, the So Loud moment which we send out is basically we're talking about giving a shout out to either something amazing that's happened, to either you, those around you. It could actually be giving So Loud moments and shining out and shouting out to people who are doing amazing things in different areas of their careers. It could be your incredible co-producers, other directors, other movies. It could be
All
one
right,
of
and
those
my
things.
shout out is to Nelson Spike. Nelson, you're amazing. Thank you for your contribution to Nollywood. That is Nollywood. He's a Nollywood pioneer. He works very hard behind the scene and always supportive and a great person. So, Nelson, you are awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. And he's also a director is the director of Housewives and Girlfriends.
So
well
that's
done,
your
Nelson.
that's your so loud moment for the week. And what is the one thing that having Nelson? What has been the difference of having someone of his quality on your show? What difference has that made to you?
Nelson is a very practical person, business-oriented person, and he knows the industry, not just Nollywood, but also Hollywood and Bollywood. So it's well experienced. So when you're going through challenges, I say, look, Nelson, I'm going through this. What do you think? Oh, Rhoda, do this way. This is the best way. This is how it should work, and this is what it is. It's great. He has the experience, and he can relate to the problems that you're discussing with him, and he can provide practical advice. That is what is great about having somebody like him in your team, or in my team anyway. My team, not your team, my team.
On the team. He's basically making the team work.
yeah, teamwork. Yes. So
Okay.
that's what it is, yeah. So it's great.
Okay, so I know you want to talk about the Christmas movie, and we do have time to talk about it. So what is the Christmas movie? When is it out, and what inspired it?
Yeah, Miracles of the Christmas Angels is coming out in London on Friday, the 10th of November. We're going to be at the View Cinema at Westfield, Stratford,
Okay.
in London. The red carpet is at 8 p.m. and the angels will be there. And 9:30, or I should say 9:30 is when the screening will start. And what inspired this again was, another challenge that I went through in April last year. I had a good girlfriend who kind of betrayed me, and she wasn't a good girlfriend really. I only met her, and then we became friends, and then jealousy and all that played in our role. And I think during that time, I started, again, I just decided, look, that one time I prayed and I said, look, what should I do? And this inspiration came, and I started writing the script for it, and I got a few people involved. And that was April last year, and then we went into production December last year. And so Miracle of the Christmas Angels was born, and we are premiering it, and I'm really, 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 really excited about this. It is a feature film. It's not a TV series. It's a feature film. So for me, at the moment, what is also very important was I wanted to create a portfolio for myself. So I've done the TV series. I've done the TV show. I've done a documentary, The Nigerian American Dream. I did that.
Okay.
And I've done TV series, and I've done the feature film. So for me, having those four on my CV shows that I am capable of doing production. So that is also the idea.
Well, you know what, Rhoda, that actually is quite an achievement because you've covered all your bases. You're actually growing in your industry, and which comes back to what we were talking earlier about knowing the industry and knowing how to progress in your industry. And I think that's actually very, very important.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Another thing I wanted to say is that sometimes friends let you down. Not so much friends, but people that you thought you could trust let you down. But that should not be. That should not stop you. And that should not make you bitter. That should not make you angry. You should see it as a positive thing and see how you can utilize that to grow yourself. So that's something I wanted to add as well, because yes, I have done all of this. I've done all of these because of challenges I've went through, some of them good, some of them bad. And at the end of the day, you just say, okay, but my destiny is where it is. And I hate to keep focusing on this, but when you meditate and ask, if you're doing the right thing, and if you're actually traveling the right road, the answers always come, and there'll always be help that comes to you unexpectedly. And sometimes I ask myself and I ask the universe, am I doing the right thing? Am I traveling the right road? Is this what I should be doing? And when I get the help that I need, I know straight away it's the right thing to do. So I just carry on. So some of these things that I've done, from the Rhoda Wilson show to the Nigerian American Dream documentary, Housewives and Girlfriend, now the Miracles of the Christmas Angels, I just, because of challenges and asking, is this the right thing to do? And should I carry on? And then you get the sign, and then you carry on. And you carry on, and all the support and help you need come your way.
You know, that sounds like a very, very practical way to actually look at it. And the fact that, you know what, everyone will go through challenges. And I think it's how we then decide what we get out of those challenges. Do we use it, or, you know, to make us better, or do we allow it to actually change who we are? And you mentioned the fact that you know, because of this, you've gone through this, you've really had time to develop yourself, and you talk about writing your scripts. What's the one skill that script writing, is it a skill that everyone can learn? Does it take something special? What are the basics of us learning to write a great script?
Okay, when I did the script for Housewives and Girlfriend, it was done in isolation. And it was done in isolation. I had this grand idea that, okay, I want all these people to be riding yachts, to have all this, to have that, which is great. But gradually, one of the things I've come to learn, which I've only learned, believe it or not, in the last, since December last year, is that script should be written, for me, based on my own experience, for a particular person. So, for example, if I want you on my movie, or in my movie, Lillian, and I know your strength, I'll write a script just for you.
Great. Just
because
do that.
The Christmas movie, yeah, seriously, because that way, because I know your strength and I know it will sell because you can act it well. And the audience like that. Audience like make-believe.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, while script writing is great, and you know, and some of the things I've been told about in script writing is that you must have 2 or 3 factors in script writing. You must structure it this way, you must structure it that way. All those elements are great to have. But for me, and based on my own experience, is that you should target the person that you want in your movie and write a script to fit that target person. And that's what we're going to do with the workshop as well. The workshop, we're going to look at all the kids that are coming and write the script to fit those kids. So therefore, they can participate and demonstrate their abilities and skills in the movie that we're going to produce next year.
Awesome. Rhoda, we can talk about this forever, and especially with the, you know, around the areas of working with the youth and actually building them up from the ground up. We could talk about this for a good few more hours. I think I will love, once you've had this workshop on Saturday, for us to come together again with some of your young proteges and have another conversation around the work that you're doing, around more of the work, around more of your films, your TV series, and probably even once season 3 starts of Housewife and Girlfriends.
That sounds like a great plan to me.
Awesome, awesome. I want to thank you for being on the show. I've actually looked at the time thinking, oh my God, where's the time gone? We have barely scratched the surface with you, Rhoda, because there's so much to find out. Tell me, how can people get in contact with you?
You can contact me at rhodawilson.com. That's my own personal email directly to me. For all other my workshops, you can go to admin@rhodawilson.com. But just contact me anyway, and I can always, reply. Not I can always. I would reply to you, I should say. And so that's the best way to reach me.
Okay,
email is always good.
What about social media? Where can they find you on social media?
Oh, I'm on Facebook as Rhoda Wilson. I forget. I'm on Facebook as Rhoda Wilson. I'm on Twitter as Rhoda Wilson TV, and I'm on Instagram as Rhoda Wilson 1. So that is Facebook, Rhoda Wilson. I currently have a pink scarf around me, so if you're looking, I think there are quite a few Rhoda Wilson there, but you can't miss me. I'm the top one. And then on Twitter, Rhoda Wilson TV, and on Instagram, Rhoda Wilson 1.
Awesome. So you can find her under her name. You can Google her. She is available to you, and, discover more about her work, and also discover more go and watch the series so far of Housewives and Girlfriends. Rhoda, where can we find the past 2 seasons of the show?
Currently, you can see a trailer on YouTube. The reason we don't have the past series on the system is because once it's on YouTube, the value drops. So trying to sell it and get the money that you require is not often possible.
Right.
So it's not on YouTube, but you can get what do they call it? You can get it. You can watch the trailer.
Okay. So, and the new season of the show, where would it be aired?
The new season of the show is going to be, fun enough, it's going to be only in Africa and in the US. At the moment, we're still in discussion with a UK broadcaster to take it up. It's just a case of work in progress.
Rhoda, on behalf of the UK public, we are seriously upset. How can you leave us out like this? We need to see this. We need to see the new season. Why is it only Africa and US? This is unfair. I call foul and shenanigans. Shenanigans is being called, so we have to find a way to get it on UK TV.
We have to. And I'm open to any suggestion.
Awesome. So, Rhoda, once again, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing about, the work that you've done, being a producer, stepping up into that area in Nollywood to say, and being behind the camera, your workshop with the kids, the Christmas movie coming out. Just thank you for being on the show and sharing everything that you have.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate being on the show. I really enjoyed it. I can't believe it's been an hour already. I didn't know I could talk that long. Man, but it's been good. Time has flown, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, join us same time, not next week, because we are taking a quick break next week, and join us for the week after as we go into October with some fantastic guests coming up. I am forever Lillian Mbogo, and this has been the Shine Out Loud show. And once again, join me and thank my incredible guest, Rhoda Wilson. And we will catch you same time, same place next week. Goodbye, Rhoda.
Bye, Lillian. Nice talking to you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.
What's going on? If you're enjoying today's show, don't forget to check out our website at www.shineoutloud.tv. And we'd definitely appreciate it if you subscribe to the show and leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes too. Thank you.